Hello guys, today we are doing integration, of which I will be doing all those different kind of integration, of which the first one is inverse function of an integration, of which is number 1. The second one is by function of by partial function of an integration, of which is number 2. The third one is by part function of an integration, of which is number 3. Then the fourth one is substitution function of integration, of which is number 4. Then number 5 is a proof of an integration. How do we? Here we are given the function of an inverse of an integration. It says that the integral of the whole root 3 minus 2p minus p squared dp. We need to integrate this thing. How do we integrate this function? The first step that we need to do is to quote this equation as it is. Then we write it here. Then before we can do all these steps that we need to do, we have to first simplify the inside function by completing a square. How do we complete a square? Remember, we're going to take negative p square. I'm going to make I'm going to take p square first. It's a negative 2p plus 3. How do we complete the square of this function? The first thing that you need to do, this is the same as ax squared plus bx plus c, where our a is negative 1 and our x is p, and our b is negative 2, our x is p, our c is 3. So relating to this general formula, I'm going to simplify it. The general formula says that for us to complete a square of a given function, we need to take a outside. We're going to take a outside negative 1, of which is negative outside. Then we are left with this inside. The first step is to take a outside, then you divide by a the whole equation. Meaning we take out a outside, then we divide by negative 1, negative 1, negative 1, of which is going to be p squared plus 2p minus 3. Then the second step, it says we must get the half of the middle term. We must get the half of the middle term. We get the half of the middle term. We square, then we add, then we minus by the same function, of which is the half of this middle term. How do we get it? We'll say p squared plus 2p, then we get the half of this. The half of this is 2 divided by 2 is 1. We square it, we add it, we add the square. We add the square half of this second term, we minus the square half of the second term again, of which 2 divided by 2 is 1. We add that 1 square, we minus that 1 square, then we minus that 3 that we were having. Then we close bracket. Then the third step is say that we must consider the sign of a second term before we can do whatever we want to do. Meaning we're going to say negative. Then from there on, we're going to we take this term of which is p squared. We take this term again of which is 1 square. We take p, we take 1, we put a square. Then the sign that is included here is the sign that is always on the second term. If here it was negative, we're going to put negative here, but here is positive, we put negative. It's positive, we put positive here. Then we are left, we take this and this, we are left with this. We don't consider this when we arrive here. here it's supposed to be this bracket. Then this and this 1, we are left with 1 square minus 3. Then when you arrive here, we're gonna say negative p plus 1 whole square. Then this and this 1 square is 1, minus 1 minus is minus 4. Then we multiply throughout by this negative, of which is gonna be 4 minus p plus 1 the whole square. This is our completing this. This is our answer when we complete the square. Then to simplify this, we have different kind of formulas in an integration. But before we can go to the formula, the first thing that you need to do is to let us first go to the formula. Our formula here it says the integral of f prime x, the whole a square minus f of x the whole square dx is equals to 1 over 2 f of x the whole a square minus f of x the whole square plus half a square sine inverse f of x divided by a plus c, of which these formulas, as you can see here, are these formulas that I'm gonna use it throughout each question, to solve each and every question. But there are so many formulas that you can get to solve integration, but this one are specifically for this question that we are given, of which I'm gonna take the first one and apply it to the first question there, so that we can relate something with something, then we get the answer. The first one, it says f of x, integral of f of x, f prime x is equals to a square minus f of x the whole square dx is equals to f of x multiplied by the whole square a square minus f of x minus f of x plus half a square sine inverse f of x divided by a plus c. This is a general formula for integration. Then from this equation, from this formula relate to this given function, we said after completing our square, this is what we get actually. Then we are going to say therefore a is going to be 4 minus p plus 1 the whole square dp. After completing the square, you substitute it accordingly again to the given equation, of which is like this. Then from there on, you need to determine, in this general formula we have f of x with a. So from this equation, we need to determine f of x, and we need to determine a. How do we determine f of x? F of x is gonna be our f of x from this relate to this. Remember, this thing is, when you look onto this equation, onto this formula, it says f prime x into a square minus f of x the whole square dx, of which, if you can look exactly this equation into this, it does correspond, because our a is 4 and our f of x square is p plus 1, our dx is dp. Then they say that after you have got f of x and a, which you have to just write these accordingly. You substitute f of x and a accordingly, then that's your answer. So from this equation relating to the given formula, actually to the given general formula, our f of x is p plus 1. Our f of x is p plus 1. Then our a, because here is 4 and here is a squared and here we want a, of which our 4 has to be 4 the root of, actually 4 the root of 4. Reason being, when we substitute it here, it has to give us 4. Then when we substitute f of x here, it has to give us p plus 1 the whole square. Then we come and say again, the root of 4 is 2. Then from there on we can say that because now we have f of x, we have a, we can substitute it accordingly using this formula. Using this formula, this is 2. Can substitute it accordingly using this formula, because here it says f of x, our x prime x is this. When you integrate p plus 1, we get 1, of which is 1 here. Our a square is 4 is root 4, of which is 2. When we substitute 2 here, we have to get 4. Then our f of x is p plus 1. Here it is, we substitute it accordingly. Our half, we're going to say half, our f of x is p plus 1, then you put this root. Then our a we say our a is root 4, of which is 2. We're going to say 2 squared, of which you can simplify it again and say it's 4 minus our f of x is p plus 1 the whole square plus half a square, it's half a square is 4. Since it is 2 here, since it is 2, a square, 2 square is 4. Then sine inverse f of x, our f of x again is p plus 1 divided by a. Our a is 2 plus c. Our a is 2. Then we half a square, of which it was 1 over 2, 4. When you simplify this, we are going to get 2. We're going to get 2. Then according to this formula, our function is like this. Then this is going to be our answer. As it is, we don't do anything. We just substitute accordingly, plus c. You don't have to forget this c. This c is so important. You're going to lose marks if you can forget. Then now we can move to number 2. Number 2 say that, and I said number 2 is under the topic of partial function integration. Then it says integral of 2x squared minus 5x minus 7 the whole divided by x cubed plus 2x squared minus x minus 2 the whole dx. The only thing that we need to do here is to simplify the denominator so that you can get a proper function. After simplifying the denominator, then we use the partial rules. Then after finding the partial rules, then we substitute. After substituting, then we integrate, we get our final answer. Our number two is we're given integral of 2x squared minus 5x minus 7 the whole x cube plus 2x squared minus x minus 2 the whole dx. The first step that you need to do here throughout is to simplify the denominator, and we know our denominator is x cubed plus 2x squared minus x minus 2. How do we simplify it? I'm going to write it here. X cubed plus 2x squared minus x minus 2. We need to simplify it. Actually, when I say we must simplify it, I mean we must factorize it. How do we factorize a cubic function? When you are factorizing a cubic function, remember the t-table. The t-table says that you must first find the factor theorem. After finding the factor theorem, you substitute it on your table so that you can get your answer. Then our factor theorem, usually factor theorem is 0, 1, 2, 3, negative 1, negative 2, negative 3. This is our factor theorem values, of which, if I can start by substituting 0 here. Actually, we said we need to get the factor theorem in order for our equation. Actually, we get the factor theorem in such a way that when you substitute it here in this given equation, it has to give us 0. Then, when we start with 0, we substitute 0 instead of x here, it's going to give us negative 2, the answer of which is not 0. We skipped. When we skipped, we start here, we go there, substitute 0, it gives us negative 2. Then when we substitute 1, we substitute 1 here. 1 cubed plus 2, 1, minus 1, minus 2. Remember, this is 1, this is 2, this is 1, this is negative 2. Negative 1, negative 2 is negative 3, negative 3. Then 1 plus 2 is negative 3 plus 3. Negative 3 minus 3 is going to give us 0. Then our factor theorem is 1. Then we're going to take 1. We're going to take 1 to be our factor theorem. How do we simplify then after getting our factor theorem? You throw this table. Here you put your factor theorem, of which if it is 1, you're gonna put 1, not negative 1. If it is positive, you put as it is, as positive. It is negative. If it is negative, you put as it is, as negative. Then because our factor theorem is 1, positive 1, I'm gonna put 1 here. Then from there on, here on top, you come to your given cubic function. Then you take each and every coefficient of the cubic function, then you put it accordingly. This is the same as ax cubed plus bx squared plus cx plus d. And here in this, when I relate this into this, our a here is 1, our b here is 2, our c here is negative 1, our d is negative 2. And I said a, b, c, d is our coefficients of the function of x. Therefore, we are going to take the coefficients of a given function, of a given cubic function. Our coefficient, we say it's 1, we're going to put 1 here, this is 2, this is negative 1, this is negative 2. Then from there on, here from the first step, you put 0 here. When you put 0, 1 plus 0 is 1, 1 plus 0 is 1. Then 1 times 1 times 1, you put your answer here, of which is 1. And again, 2 plus 1 is 3. 3 times 1 is 3. Negative 1 plus 3, negative 1 plus 3 is 2. 2 times 1 is 2. Negative 2 minus negative 2 plus 2 is 0. Then from there on, you're gonna write your function. How do you get your function from these numbers? You're gonna say this is your factor theorem. Because it is positive, when you put it here, it's gonna be negative 1. Then from there on, you come to these answers that we have got here below. You say this is x squared. This stands for x squared. This stands for x. This stands for a constant, of which can be a, b, c, d. But because it is, we're gonna put 2. Then meaning when we take our equation here, it's gonna be, we take these numbers first. Because here is 0, we ignore it. And you must know that always when you are doing this, you must get 0 at the end, of which is gonna be x squared, of which is this one. If it was 2 here, it's gonna be 2x squared, but because it is 1, is x squared. This is 3, is plus 3x. Because this 3 is positive, you put as it is, you put positive. It was negative. If it was negative, you were gonna put negative 3x. Then this is 2, you're gonna put plus 2. And this is your equation. Then when you factorize this, how do you remember? When you factorize this, it's gonna be x. It's gonna be x. This, when you are factorizing a quadratic function, you take the first function and the third function. Then you get the factors of it. Our factors of x is x and x. Factors of 2 is 2 times 1, of which is 1 and is 2 and 1. Then because our middle term is positive 3, of which here is gonna be positive. Then when we multiply this, gonna give us your middle term, of which is positive 3x. Then we simplify this. When we simplify it, I'm gonna rewrite this as in a simplified form. Gonna be x plus 1, x plus 2. Then from here, you just come again and substitute it, and substitute your factorize equation or your factorized function, of which we're gonna say therefore 2x squared minus 5x minus 7 over the whole x minus 1, x minus 1, x plus 1, x plus 2. Then it's dx, the whole dx. Then remember the rules of partial function. The rules of partial function, it says, I'm gonna go straight towards this. Actually, the rules that specify this function, of which it says, if ax squared plus bx plus c, then is ax plus b, cx plus d. Your function, when you apply your partial function, it's gonna be a over ax plus b over cx plus d. Meaning, by applying this into this equation, our ax squared plus bx plus c is 2x squared minus 5x minus 7. Then our function below is ax. Actually, this factorized equation, we can presume that is this x minus 1, x plus 1, and x plus 2. Then we do the same. We do the same there. We do the same as we did there. But here we have 3 functions, but there we have 2. That's why we say it is a and b. But here, because it is 3, we are gonna say a and b and c. So how do we simplify this using this principle? When you are simplifying this, it's gonna be, actually when you're doing a partial function, you take this function out, you leave out this integral and dx, of which is 2x squared minus 5 minus 7. Then is x plus 1, x plus 1, x minus 1, x plus 2. Then from there on, when you arrive here, we just have to say a is equals to x plus 1 plus b over x minus 1 plus c over x plus 2. Then when you arrive into this step, the second step is to take this denominator and multiply throughout here. So when you take this denominator, 2x squared minus 5x minus 7 is equals to, when you take this denominator, we are only gonna be left with this numerator only. Then this denominator is gonna multiply this a, this b, and this c. So when you multiply the whole of this with this a over x plus 1, it's gonna be a into x minus 1, x plus 2. Meaning this and this cancel each other. Then again plus b into x plus 1, x plus 2. Again plus c into x plus 1, x minus 1. Then when you arrive here, you simplify your equation accordingly. This is gonna be 2x squared minus 5 x minus 7 is equals to, when you simplify this, it's gonna be a into, when you simplify this, x squared, x times x is x squared, x times 2 is 2x, x, negative 1 times x is x, 2x minus 1 minus x is x plus x minus 2. Then the same is true here, but b is going to be x squared plus 3x plus 2 plus c, x squared, x minus 1. So when you arrive here into this step, you multiply the a's, b's, and c's throughout the bracket. It's gonna be 2i squared minus 5x minus 7 is equals to a squared plus ax minus 2a plus b x squared plus 3bx plus 2b plus c x squared minus c minus c. Then after simplifying everything, you come and say for the coefficients, when you arrive here, you take only the coefficients. You start with the coefficients of a constant. When you are talking about the coefficients of a constant, we are talking about the constant that doesn't have x throughout. Say coefficients of a constant. It's gonna be, you come to this one, any number that doesn't have x is -7. You say -7 is equals to, here you look up any number that doesn't have x. Here from this equation that doesn't have x is -2a. From here that doesn't have x is +2b. Here is -c. Then this is going to be your equation 1. Then for coefficients, coefficients of x. You follow with the coefficients of x. This is the coefficients of a constant. Coefficients of x. Coefficients of x, we will look up for a coefficient that have x only, not x squared. X only. Of which is going to be -5. From this one is -5. From this one is a. It's equals to a. This is a. From this one is +3. +3b. +3b. From this one we don't have it. So from here we are going to make a the subject of the formula. But before we can do that thing, we can make equation 2. Then coefficients again. Coefficients of x squared. Coefficients of x squared. Here the coefficients of x squared is 2. Is equals to, here is a plus b plus c plus b plus c. So from there on we come and say this is our equation 3. Then from here we need to simplify the value. We need to find the value of a, b, c. How do we find the value of b and c and a? We come and take the easiest equation that can make our life be easier. Here is -5. We say -5 equals to a. Say -5 equals to a plus 3b. Then from there on we make a the subject of the formula. A equals to -5 minus 3b. This is going to be our equation 4. From our equation 4, we come and say, from this one we can make C our equation. We come and take our equation 3 and say 2 is equals to A plus B plus C. Then we make A, B the subject of the formula. B the subject of the formula. Actually, from this equation we can substitute where there is A. Where there is A, we say it's our equation 3. We substitute our equation 4 into our equation 3. It's going to be 2 is equals to, when you substitute this, it's going to be -5 minus 3b plus b plus c. Then we simplify this to the other side. It becomes 2 plus 5 is 7. Is equals to -3b plus b is -2b plus c. Then from there on we can make C the subject of the formula. C is equals to 7 plus 2b. This is going to be our equation 5. Now we have A and B, A and C. where it all of it includes b. So we can come to our equation 1 and substitute a and c, then we get b. How do we do it? I can come and say, I'll write it here, and say our equation 1 is -7, -7 is equals to -2a, -2a plus 2b plus c. So it's minus c here. Then we substitute our a and b accordingly to this equation. This is -7 equals to -2. Our a is -5 and minus 3b, -5 and minus 3b plus 2b. Our c is negative. We put 7 plus 2b, and there on we can since now we have only b, we don't have a and c, we can simplify and get the value of b, of which is -7 is equals to is plus 10 is 10, -2 times then negative plus 6b plus 2b is -7 minus 2b, then plus 2b minus 2b, these it cancel each other, then these to the other side, this 7 is going to cancel this 7, we're left with 0 equals to 10 plus 6b. Then we make b the subject of the formula. B, we're going to take this 10 to the other side, is -10 divided by 6, of which, when you simplify this, I don't think we can simplify this, it's going to be -5/3. This is our b. From our b, we can calculate our c, we can calculate our a. From our b, this is our b. Our a, we say our a is equals to -5 minus 3b. Substitute b, -5 minus 3 minus 5/3. This is going to be our a. Our a, we are going to get -5 minus 3 minus 5/3. Our a, we are going to get 0. Then our c is going to be, I'm going to calculate our c here. Our c is going to be 7 plus 2, 95/3. Going to be 7 plus 2, 95/3. Which it gives us 11/3. Then after getting your A, B and C, then you can come again. After getting your A, B and C, you can come again to the given equation. Then you substitute your A, B and C accordingly. Then on you integrate. Since we know, I'm going to erase this so that I'm going to start here again. Our A, I'm going to write here our A equals to 0, our B equals to -5/3, and our C is 11/3. Then, after simplifying everything, Then from here, I'm going to substitute the value of A, B, and C accordingly here. Our A is 0, 0, any number divided by 0, any number. This is going to give us undefined. We leave it. Our B we said is negative 5 over 3 into x minus 1. Then our C we said plus 11 over 3 into x plus 2. This is the same as this. Then from here, that's where we can take this equation. This equation, we come and substitute it here. Instead of this, we substitute that equation, of which is going to give us negative 5 into 3x minus 1 plus 11 into 3x plus 2 dx. Then we expand this function by saying this integral is going to multiply throughout the bracket, and that'll be negative 5 over 3 x minus 1 dx plus 11 over 3 x plus 2 dx. Then from here we integrate. How do we integrate such things? Remember, when you are integrating, we don't integrate constant. This is negative 5. We're going to take this negative 5 over 3 outside. Negative 5 over 3. We're left with dx over x minus 1. Again, 11 over 3. We're left with dx over x plus 2. Then when we simplify this, remember, when you're simplifying, you integrate the function, then you multiply by the function, by the coefficients of the function actually. Our function is x minus 1, then we integrate it. When you integrate, yes, I said we take the coefficients outside, and the f of x, this is our f of x. Remember, when we are integrating x, when we differentiate x, it's gonna give us 1, of which is 1 here. Then you multiply by 1 over 1, of which is gonna give us 1. So we ignore it. Then this is gonna be, because here is negative 1, it's 1. It's 1 here, and remember, an integration of dx over x, it gives us ln x plus c. This is the basic, of which here our x is x minus 1 dx. Then we're gonna come and use this formula. Negative 5 over 3 and x minus 1 plus 11 over 3 then x plus 2 plus c. Do not forget this c always. This is our answer for a second equation.